Welcome to Tia's Table, where we talk about making fitness and wellness doable for busy women like you and me. Looking for healthy meal ideas, workout motivation, and good conversation? Don't worry, I got you, girl. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk. Hey, girl. Welcome back to Tia's Table. I think this has got to be the fastest 8 weeks of my life. I don't know that I have ever experienced a summer break that flew by at the speed of light. What is time even? Like, how is it quantified? Is it even real? Because I feel like my children just got out of school and girl, they go back to school in 2 days. I am speechless. I am not ready. I am still sleepy from the previous school year. But that's neither here nor there because summer break is over. We are back at Tia's Table. It's a new season of the podcast, and I cannot wait to start this adventure with all of you. So before we get started, let's first talk about what's on Tia's Table this month. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably already saw it. I'm going to go ahead and say, and I had another recipe planned for August. I'm not even going to lie, but this was just so good that I have to share it here on the podcast, just in case you listen to the podcast, but you're not a part of our family on Instagram, then you missed the Southern Girl Salad. Come through, peaches, feta cheese, roasted chicken on a bed of leafy greens with bacon crumbles and pistachios, drizzled with a little what I love to call my personal dressing, which is Greek dressing mixed with some poppy seed. Yummy. You get the savory and the salty with a little bit of the sweet. All of those flavors come together to make one amazingly delicious salad. So many people have tried it. Everyone has loved it. I am so glad that in a conversation with a friend of mine, that salad came to be. I'm so glad I decided to share it because people have been eating it and they are really loving it. So if you haven't tried the Southern Girl Salad, I strongly encourage you to give it a try, especially if you can still get your hands on some really good peaches. You know, we live in the South, so it's nothing for me to get peaches at the grocery store, right? Because I live in Georgia. If you are somewhere where you still have access to really ripe, fresh peaches now, the peaches have to be fresh. Now, this isn't one of those things where we can go get a can or get them frozen and do the whole to-do that people do when they choose to not use fresh peaches. This is one of those where you got to go to the produce department. You got to get your peaches. You don't have to take the skin off, but you can if you want to. And when I mean to tell you, the way those peaches come together with that bacon and that feta cheese, then the yumminess of the dressing, and you don't have to use that dressing combo, but it's just my personal favorite. When you put all of that together on a plate or in a bowl, it's delicious. I have even had people like swap out the peaches for strawberries or apples, and they say it's still just as good. So if you can't get your hand on peaches, you know, this is one of those times where you can be really flexible and open and try something new. So you absolutely can try it with any other fruit. I'd be willing to bet you could probably even try this with watermelon, and it would be so insanely good. So if you have not tried our Southern Girl Salad, please go to the website, tiavfitness.com, click on the blog, and the Southern Girl Salad should be one of the first blog posts that pop up for you. The recipe is there, how the salad came to be is there, and I mean, it's just the all-out great meal to add to your meal plan for this upcoming week or even this month. As long as they are still putting peaches out in the grocery store, girl, you can get you that Southern Girl Salad for lunch or dinner any day of the week. I love that. I love the salad, and I'm so glad to see that it has really been a meal that people have been enjoying. So yay for that. Let's do a quick summer recap before we get into everything that's going on here, right? So this summer, I started the summer off. If you saw the July newsletter, I started the summer off by going to Vegas. I got to see Anita Baker in concert. She was fabulous. She sounds like the records. The whole concert was a vibe. Everybody was standing up singing the songs like we were at a family reunion, and it was amazing. I know people like to say like, oh, I got my life. But no, really, I got my whole musical life at that concert. All of the rest and recharging that I knew I was going to need to prepare myself for this very short summer break, I got it during that trip to Vegas. I got to lay out by the pool for a whole day and just shop, take my time and try new foods. Like the whole thing was just such a great 3 to 4 days. And I'm really thinking that moving forward, I'm going to start doing these kinds of trips at the beginning of the summer so that I can be my best self for the whole summer break. I had way more patience. I was so much more chill this summer. And I really think it's because at the end of the school year, I got to go like have a few days to myself before getting into a busy summer. We also took the kids to Orlando, Florida this summer. They got to go to amusement parks, play in the pool, see their family. They had their favorite cousins come to visit for like a whole week. And, you know, I did like a little summer camp for the kids because I love them. And they came, they played, they ran around here and had the best time for a whole week. And girl, by the time we did all of that, I only had like 2.5 weeks to get them ready to go back to school. Can you even believe it? I called the eye doctor trying to schedule everybody for appointments. And the eye doctor was like, girl, you should have came 3 weeks ago because all the other mamas done beat you to it. Your kids can come up here and get an eye exam, but they won't have their new glasses until after school starts. And I said, well, sometimes you have to take what you can get. Beggars can't be choosers. And guess which end of the stick I'm on with the eye exams. So yes, I feel like I was able to get them everything they needed for back to school. And by the time this podcast comes out, they would only have 2 days left of summer break and they'll be going back to school literally 2 days from the day this goes live. So summer break, I'm always very excited for it. I look forward to it so much. And I feel like it goes by in the blink of an eye. So here we are starting another school year. And I cannot say I'm excited about it, but hey, what can you do but drop them off and keep it moving? So here we go into a new school year. This summer, I really tried to focus more on some professional development. So I'm taking some nutrition classes and I'm learning a lot. I'm very excited about where that's going. I'm working on some other things that we'll talk about at the end of the podcast. And I feel like this was a summer well spent. And I hope that you had the same experience. I hope that you had the time of your life this past 8 weeks, and that was full of travel and rest and good, yummy food and lots of sunshine and any and everything else that makes you feel like you in the best way. So we're going to get into today's main topic because we have a lot to talk about today. But some of it, I'm going to save the crazier stuff or the more, interesting topics for the end. But let's get into today's main topic. And today we are talking about detoxes, people wanting to detox. I get messaged about detoxing and juicing and supplements and colonics and flat tummy teas and all of that stuff more often than you would probably think. People always want to know my opinion on all of these different things. And up until this point, I've always been like, ooh, girl, no, I don't do that. So I can't really give you an opinion on something that I don't know anything about. Well, I was inspired by the nutrition course that I'm taking right now to learn a lot more about detox methods and different things people do to detox their bodies. And I think we're going to talk about this. We're going to get into a conversation, and girl, I know this might step on somebody's toes. I know somebody is not going to like it. And, it kind of just is what it is. The facts, they speak for themselves. And in this case, girl, the facts are not saying what we would like for them to say. So let's talk about it. So what is a detox? A detox is a way that the body we believe, we're hoping when we do these things that a detox is going to be a way for us to get rid of unwanted substances in our bodies, right? We're trying to get all of the gross things that we ate or drank, toxins, all of that back out. Typically, a detox is something that people do after they feel like they've been doing the most with their eating and drinking. That's really the only time I ever hear anybody talk about a detox, when they feel like they've just eaten so much stuff and they're like, ooh, they feel like if they do a detox, it's going to somehow like do like the reset. It's like, on an old Nintendo when the game wasn't going the way you wanted to go. So you would hit that restart button and then the game would go off and it would come back on like nothing ever happened. Girl, that's what people are thinking these detoxes are going to do for them. They think it's going to hit a restart button. And I'm here to let you know that I don't think that's how any of this works. And I say that because typically, and if I'm not talking about you, then we're just going to have this conversation like I'm not. But if this is for you and I'm stepping on your toes, girl, then excuse me and I'm sorry. But listen, I don't think detoxes are really doing what we think they are, because what happens is people will do a detox and then don't y'all go right back to eating and drinking the way y'all was doing before. I mean, y'all might have a little bit of awareness and you might really get, as people say, like on the wagon for like a couple weeks, but a detox doesn't really promote any permanent change. So at some point, the next thing we know, we're going back to eating all of the things, drinking everything, and for what? So that in a couple months, we'll try to hit that restart button again on that Nintendo of our bodies and try to do another detox. And I think that is a cycle that we have got to break. We got to stop that. So let's talk about different ways that people detox, what we think about them, and then we're going to talk about how you can use your body's natural detoxification system so that you really never have to rely on these things to begin with. But because I'm always down for an adventure in the sake of sharing what happens to me, hey, I went and tried one of the most popular things to do right now to detox. And I've been reading a lot of case studies on some of the other things so that I can share information, and then you take this information and do what you will. I am in no way recommending that anyone go out and actually do any of these things. I'm also not telling you not to do it, but I'm telling you, I'm not recommending it. I'm not standing behind any of it. Girl, I'm just sharing what I know. So take this information and do with it what you will. I decided to go get a foot detox done, right? Because I had seen them online. People talk about them all the time. You go, and to be honest with you, it was the most non-invasive choice out of all of the choices that were before me. Okay, and we're going to talk about some of those other choices. But this one, I was like, oh, yes, I can go sit down, put my foot in a petty bowl for 30 minutes and then see what happens. So I find a place that offers foot detoxes. I go. The people there are really, really nice. The place was really clean, and it's a place that does a lot of different services. And we'll get into some of those other services later on in this season. But they offer lots of things, right? So I get to the foot detox bowl. She puts like a little black plunger, like miniature plunger thing in the middle of the bowl, and the water is hot. I sit there, and literally as I'm sitting there, I'm watching the color of the water turn from very clear water to somewhat of an orange tint, right? And by the chart that she gives me, I know that orange color means it is pulling toxins from my joints, right? Then I'm seeing bubbles and like some type of cloudiness start to float to the top of the water. And she tells me like, oh, that's probably, well, not probably, she knew for a fact. She was like, oh, that's yeast, and what else was it? Oh, like lymph nodes. So you're like, your lymphatic system is being drained of whatever toxins are in there. She was like, you also have a little black metal. She was like, and all of this is really, really normal. And so at first I'm kind of freaking out because I'm like, oh gosh, well, if I'm sitting down and this is starting to happen right away, I'm going to end up with a bucket of black, disturbing water. And I really didn't want my water to be like the worst color on the chart. Of course I didn't, right? So as I'm sitting there throughout the 30 minutes, my water just turns more orange and more orange. And she, was very nice and reassuring. And she let me know like, okay, yep, this is all from your joints, like your joints, your joints, your joints. And she just kept repeating that over and over again. So at the end of the 30 minutes, she and I talked about what could possibly have been drained, like what types of toxins were coming from me. And she said, well, first of all, any type of detox that you get is pulling toxins from your body that may have been there for like, girl, your entire life. So I went into this thinking like, oh, this is probably going to pull stuff from yesterday because I had gone out the night before and had like an amazing time. But I had gone out the night before and I'm like, ooh, so this is probably not the best day to get this done. But I had already booked it and I did not want to lose my deposit. So I was thinking that it was more of been like an immediate look at the toxins in your body. And she was like, no, these are things that have been living in you your whole 38 years of life. And this particular day, this is what is being pulled from the body. She also said, because I asked her, because I like knowing on a scale of what is the best and worst you've seen, where do I fit on that scale? And she actually said my water wasn't bad at all, that I would be surprised at a lot of the bowls that she ends up seeing when people are done with their 30 minutes. So what I took away from my foot detox experience is that one, okay, this was not painful. This was relatively inexpensive. I think I paid somewhere between $50 and $60 for it. So it was relatively inexpensive. It was pain-free. It only took up 30 minutes of my time. So in my opinion, this was something that I would probably do again because it costs me almost nothing to do as far as money and time. It wasn't painful. There was nothing that I had to do leading up to it, going in. And afterwards, I was fine. Like I could walk right out of there. I went grocery shopping, done and done. Now, I tried to pay attention to how I was feeling after having the foot detox done because I wanted to be able to determine if I felt any different. And at first, I didn't. At first, I felt fine. About an hour and 30 minutes after having it done, I did notice that my knees were going through something. And I don't know what it was, but they felt just very sensitive. I was going up and down the steps, going around the house doing something, and I could feel that my joints were doing a little something in a way that they normally do not. Like normally I don't have no feelings in my joints, but they were feeling a little, I don't know, like a little creaky, like they might have needed a little WD-40. So maybe they were rubbing up against each other in a way that they haven't ever been able to. I don't know. And I don't know if this is the placebo effect, meaning that because I got something done, now I'm looking for a result, I don't know if it's that. We don't know. But I do know about an hour and a half after sitting down for the detox, I could feel it in my knees, or I felt like I could feel something going on in my knees. So that was my experience with the foot detox. We're going to move on to some other detox methods that I was interested in enough to kind of research. The next one that I think is very popular, at least on social media, is the tea detox and like the juicing detox. We're going to lump those together because they're both liquid based. When you think about it, let's start with the teas, okay? When you think about it, if you go from eating every day with snacks and all of that to bringing your body to a full stop and kind of like not eating anything, I don't know what people believe that's going to do other than what it should do, and that's totally make your body feel empty. I get fasting, right? I totally understand a fast, a short fast. I could probably get behind, especially if it's for like spiritual or religious reasons. I feel like I can understand people doing a fast every now and again, right? When people say they're going to drink tea, and I know the tea has different like herbs and things in it that activate different things in your body, and it makes your body move, and you feel like you're going to literally poop out everything that's in your body, right? Let's just cut right to it because I didn't know a nicer way to say that. But you feel like you're going to void everything that's in your body by drinking these teas day after day. And you might. But when we think about it, like, shouldn't we though? Isn't that should happen? If I'm not eating anything and all I'm doing is drinking this tea, well, yeah, at some point your body is going to be like, oh, like we can actually move things around in here because it's like we're not processing anything. What is going in is coming right back out, which is what the body is supposed to do. Juicing brings me to another kind of like, is this necessary? So that's one of the things that I would have to say that I don't like about detoxing, or it's one of the things that doesn't attract me to the idea of doing a detox, is that some of it is kind of like, well, girl, isn't it a better way we can go about doing this without making ourselves miserable? So when I think about juicing, I think about the fact that number one, you got to have a juicer. So that's an expense. Or you got to buy the juices already like done up. And I know that's what a lot of people do. They find somebody who's selling like a kit of juices and then they tell you which juices to drink on which days and blah, 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 blah. Got it. And this also, I just want to say this is not coming from a judgmental place, but I'm an Aquarius. And so I analyze and think about things a lot. I am an overthinker, and the overthinker in me sometimes comes to a place where I'm like, is this really the best thing that we could be doing? Is this the best way to go about doing something? So yes, when we think about the juicing, I'm like, okay, so you go buy these juices, and most juicing programs are not all that inexpensive, especially if you're getting like organic juices, and all of that, right? If you're getting it already in a kit and they're telling you how to go about doing it, most of those they're not cheap, right? So there's a cost associated there. If you decide to buy your own juicing machine, those definitely are not cheap. And then on top of that, you have to go buy all of the produce to make these juices. So you make your juice or you buy your juice, and then we start drinking them, right? When you start your juice program, it's the same as drinking water and drinking tea. If you bring your eating or your consumption of solid foods to a full stop and you start only taking in juice, well, then yes, at some point, it's going to be very easy, girl, for you to poop because your body is not processing anything solid. So I think people think what's in the juice is making them go to the bathroom, when really it's just the fact that it's a liquid and not a solid. And so that's making it easier for your body to process what you're drinking. Now, you probably are still getting a lot of the same nutrients. So yes, your intake of all of these different vegetables and fruits is the same as if you had eaten them. But the difference is if you were to eat them, which is my preferred way of getting all of these things in, if you were to eat the food instead of juicing it, you would still be getting all the nutrients. But if you are rushing through your meals, and let's say you're not taking your time to like chew up your food really good, and so you're swallowing like big whole chunks of food, then yeah, that can be hard on your body. It's harder for your body to process big like chunks of a celery versus well chewed, really mushy, fine granules of that same celery stick, right? So then of course, if you run it through a juicer and it's in its liquid form, it's going to be easier for your body to process that same thing. And so I think that's how people have to kind of start thinking about these different detox methods. It's like, okay, I see what they're doing. How can I get those same benefits without being as miserable? Because I know for me, I like to sit down and eat. So something like juicing, which first of all, I'm not a juice girl. Like I even like juices that people say are like tasty. I do like pineapple juice, but only if it's mixed with a little razzle dazzle and is somewhere after 5 o'clock, if you follow me. So I'm like, yeah, if you like the taste of juice and all of that, maybe this is something that's going to work for you. But if you are a person that likes to actually sit down and go through like the whole ritual of having a meal, chewing your food, picking up a fork, and these are real things for a lot of people, then I don't know that doing something like a juicing program is going to be something that you would enjoy for however long people do these. And some people do these things for like 3 to 7 days. Like, could you even imagine? And I bet you those juices don't even taste good. And I know they have fruit in them and that's supposed to make them sweeter or like balance out the bitter, but no. I'm like, I would much rather take my time and schedule myself to eat a proper meal, taking my time to chew that food up until it's real mushy and small so that my body can process it the way that it was meant to, instead of forcing myself to drink what literally looks like a baby's blown out diaper, but like the green version of that. Like I could never. But if you could, girl, then you do it and you report back to me and let me know if it was how it worked out for you. But for me, I'm like, ooh, girl, that's no way for me to spend 3 to 7 days of this life. No way. No. So that's juicing. Then we have the supplement route where people will take like a supplement and it makes you go to the bathroom and you empty out everything that's in your system. Now, this particular one, and I do have the supplements. I bought them so that I could take a look at, what they claim to do, how they work and all of that. So the supplement that I purchased, I haven't actually tried it yet because we talked about this in season 1. In my experience with the probiotics. If it's going to make me poop, I have got to figure out the best time to do that schedule-wise, because I don't want to be inconvenienced like I was with those probiotics. So it's kind of like I need 3 days where I know I can kind of just like be home, because you don't know how it's going to hit you. And some people have said that like, oh, it wasn't so bad. It was definitely manageable. But for me and my insides, I know that my insides don't play about me. Like, I have already learned this. So I'm like, I don't want to think I'm cute somewhere in a bodysuit and some jeans, and then all of a sudden this supplement hits me and it's like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I don't want to be caught out here like that, right? Now you unsnapping, you're rushing, you're sweating, you're nervous. Oh gosh, like I can imagine myself going through that, and I don't want to live that life anymore. Y'all had me out here looking crazy with those probiotics, and I said, you won't catch me again. Not this time around. So I bought the box of the supplements just so I could read up on them and see, what the process is. You take a supplement in the morning and a supplement in the evening for 3 days. And then at some point in those 3 days, I guess whatever is in you is supposed to come out. And 3 days seems like a doable amount of time for that. I got to be honest, especially if you can time it and the timing works for you. I kind of feel like that's something you could do. However, if you are a person who works outside of the home, it's kind of like, well, how are we going to do that and be at work? Or you'd have to sacrifice a weekend for that. And I guess if it's a low-key weekend, yeah, girl, we could sit on the toilet all weekend, but then who really wants to do that? I like to feel like the weekends are my time to be real cute, and nothing about how I like to spend my weekends says that I'm gonna take supplements to make me go to the bathroom very often. And we don't know what that bathroom experience is going to be like. So I'm just like, no. But I do have them, and maybe maybe I will try them at some point. But the real reason why I haven't tried that yet is because, like I said, with the probiotics, I don't have a hard time going to the bathroom. So I feel like anything that you take that's meant to help you go to the bathroom, I probably don't need to be taking those things. And so that's something else people have to think about when they are trying to decide if they're going to participate in some of these things. Think about how your body is already operating. And if you are already a person who does not have any problem going to the bathroom, I would leave well enough alone. And you just have to trust that your body's natural detox system is going to rid itself of the good and bad in your body. But moving on to the next one. Y'all know I love going to the sauna and sitting in the sauna. Sweating is definitely a way to release your body of toxins, and I stand by the sauna. The sauna ain't never hurt nobody. You go, if your gym has a sauna, you go in there, you sit for as long as you can stand it, and you walk out. So it's either already included in something that you're paying for anyway. I have a membership to a sauna studio here where I live, and it's amazing. You go in there, you sit down for 40 minutes. It's customized just for you. So they put it on the temperature that I say I want it on, and I can adjust it while I'm in there too. They have entertainment in there, so I can watch TV or read a book or listen to a podcast, whatever. Like it's a very nice experience. And I'm glad that I treated myself to that, and that I decided that was something I was going to do for myself once a week. But yeah, I love the sauna, and I don't think that the sauna is a bad thing to do. I think it's definitely on the more gentle side of some of these detox methods that we have talked about today. So how can we activate our natural detox system? Like, how can we do that? And this is kind of where it's going to be like, but girl, I already knew that. Okay, well then we got to start doing better about practicing these things, right? Our natural detox system can be activated by drinking more water and like green tea, right? Or black tea, not the super sugary kind, but more water, more tea. By being active, working out helps stimulate your body's natural way of ridding itself of any unwanted substance that might be floating around in there. Practicing portion control, scheduling and timing our meals so that we're not rushing through eating, which I think that is a very small, easy thing that happens to all of us, right? Especially when you're super busy throughout the day, you end up just rushing through every meal. I know that happens to me all the time. I might be able to get breakfast in without rushing, but lunch and dinner, I definitely feel like I'm under the gun for time, and I'm not taking the time to maybe chew up my food as much. I'm not, monitoring my breathing while I'm eating. Like there's a whole thing. I should do a whole episode on like the proper way to eat for optimum, like digestion and all of that stuff. But yeah, I'm not aware of like my breathing. Am I on my phone while I'm eating? Am I watching TV while I'm eating? All of these things distracting me from just taking my time and making sure I'm really chewing up that food so that my body isn't struggling to process it. Making sure that we're eating a lot of fruits and veggies. So the same stuff that you would drink from a juice, we just make sure we're eating those things all throughout the day with proper meal planning. We could also make sure that we are checking our cosmetics, because everything that you put on your skin gets into your bloodstream and it floats around in your body. So we want to make sure that the cosmetics and the things that we're putting on ourselves are good for you products. Now, of course, that's probably going to be a tough one because, that's just going to be hard. But, when we can make good choices about different lotions and body scrubs and makeup products, we can do the best we can to choose the best we can, right? We can also stop eating foods that don't agree with us. Like once you discover that like your body has a hard time tolerating something, maybe we could say to ourselves, well, instead of putting my body through the absolute misery that it is to eat so much cheese, I could just limit the amount of cheese that I eat, which is a form of detoxing, right? Because you're avoiding what you know to be something that just doesn't agree with your body. So definitely limiting things that your body already has a bad reaction to. And then also watching all of the supplements and the things that we're putting into our bodies that appear to be at surface level good for us, because too much of anything is not good for us. It's like it's not a good thing. So, and I know we see a lot of stuff floating around on the internet about this supplement, that supplement, apple cider vinegar, this kind of gummy, that kind of multivitamin, or people are putting different powders and shakes into their smoothies, or taking different pre and post workout shakes, like all of that stuff, making sure that we really do our due diligence to read up on it so that we know for a fact what's going into our bodies, and to make sure that it's not clogging or stopping up our body's natural way of voiding itself and like getting things out. And I think if we take the time to do that, then we can rely on these quick, scary, some of the things that I read online, y'all, they were a little scary, but you can go up there and read it for yourself. I didn't want to bring that some of those horror stories to our conversation. But yeah, I think if we try to lean more into our just natural, healthy lifestyle, we'll find ourselves in a place where we don't have to even have some of these detox methods as options for us, because our body is doing what it was meant to do. And, you know, the more I'm learning about nutrition and how nutrition affects your body, I'm also going to go ahead and prematurely say that if we are practicing a lot of the things we talked about in season 1, or if we are practicing a lot of what I just mentioned here, you probably wouldn't need those things like at all, like not even one of them ever, you know? Because even if you did indulge like crazy, like on vacation, or, you know, just a weekend for your birthday or whatever, if you find yourself having like a 3 to 4 day span where you're just like living an amazing life and eating food and enjoying all the things, well, as soon as you get back to your regular schedule, your body will do what it's supposed to do. So we just got to make sure we're making good choices on a regular basis so that we never have to end up on the other side of some horrific experience like the one I had with the probiotics. I don't want that for anybody. I really don't. I just want everybody to just do what normal things are supposed to happen. I have sacrificed enough of the scary stuff for all of us. So yes, girl, if you have questions about detoxing, or if you want to talk to me about it, feel free to email me at tiavfitness@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at tiavfitness, and I would be more than happy to chat with you about something that you are thinking about trying. I'm not going to tell you yes or no, but I will definitely be a listening ear and be like, ooh, girl, are you sure this is what you want to do? So reach out to me. I would love to hear about some of your detox stories, especially if you tried something, you felt like it worked for you, and it wasn't something that was super inconvenient or gross. I would love to hear it. Okay, so our workout report. Now that school is back in, I'm ready to get back to my regular workout program. I feel like I did really good over the summer, being active when I could, and I feel like it shows. I'm really happy with where I am right now in terms of body size and all of that. Now that kids are back to their schedule and I'm going to get back to mine, I think I'm going to continue with my Peloton workouts because I love those and those are still really easy for me. I'm going to make my sauna day on Friday. I'm going to move it to Friday. It used to be on Monday, but I'm going to move it to Friday because I feel like it's a good way to like step into the weekend, taking that time out for myself after a busy week. So I'm going to move the sauna to Fridays so that I get that detox time in every week. I'm also going to try to make an appearance at the gym once a week. What is making me want to get back into the gym if Peloton is so great? Well, I'm going to tell you what. I don't have a whole gym in my basement, and I do feel like I need to keep switching things up. Like I need the variety. So I think some weeks I'm going to go to the gym because I still have a membership. And I think some weeks I'm going to check out that really good Pilates class I talked about that was near me. That class was really great. Now the schedule for that Pilates studio doesn't really agree with my school schedule now because I have my kids are all at different schools now. My oldest child is going to middle school and my two younger kids are still in elementary school. So now that I've got two separate school schedules to manage, I don't know how realistic it will be for me to believe I can make it to Pilates on a Friday morning. I just have to see how school drop off is going to be. once I get a better handle on that, that'll let me know if Pilates is going to be a yes or a no for me. If it's a no, it's like it's all good. I think I'm going to start going back to the gym and getting back into some of the heavier weights, using some of the weight machines and seeing what type of impact that's going to have on my workouts and my results. I am also, if you read the newsletter, you know, I am also going to attempt getting up in the morning to walk before my children get up to get ready for school. Now, I know I have said this before, but you know what? Back then, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to embrace the change back then. Now, I'm feeling a little ready. Now, I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic. I think I can make it happen. I think I can wake up at 5 and walk from 5 to 6, 2 days a week. I'm going to do it on Mondays and Fridays. I'm going to bookend that goal. I'm going to wake up on Monday and Friday at 5 a.m. I'm going to go walk from 5 to 6 and start my day that way. So those are my workout goals for right now. And I think all of it is doable. I'm excited to see what happens between now and let's say Halloween. Between now and Halloween, I'm excited to see what will come of this new workout plan. I'm excited to see. Before we start to wrap up our conversation, let's talk about some things that happened over the summer that I missed out on being able to talk to you all about because, girl, I was on my summer break. Okay, first, let's start off with talking about J-Lo and her documentary, Halftime. I cannot remember if we talked about this before we got out for summer break, but girl, if we did, let's just pretend like I never mentioned it before. I watched J-Lo's documentary. It was fantastic. Say what you will about her level of talent. I personally think she's great. She can sing, she can dance, she can act. And when you watch that documentary, you're reminded of the fact that she has been killing it for a long time. Like, the girl had #1 movies. She had #1 albums. She had hit songs all at one time. Then she had clothes over here, shoes over there. Everybody was buying it. I know I had my J-Lo outfits and stuff. So, I mean, J-Lo is a legend in her own right. And I don't think I knew about how hard of a time J-Lo used to get. I know I wasn't aware of that back then, but apparently she used to get a hard time from people in the industry about not being like a serious actress. And I guess, which now we know if you're on Twitter, people love to bring up J-Lo and Ashanti and the history there. And this conversation really is not about or for that, but I will just say I still love some old J-Lo records. They're still bops to me. And for me, I'm like, the songs that she sings them well. So, but I didn't know that people used to give her such a hard time about her like level of talent and all that she was doing until I watched that documentary. Now, fast forward to now, and J-Lo just got married to Ben Affleck. Yes, J-Lo, because if you are a J-Lo fan, then you also know that for the longest, all she wanted to do was get married. She has wanted to be in a committed relationship for as long as I can remember. And so the fact that she is now Mrs. Ben Affleck is very lovely. I'm so happy for her. I'm happy for him. Everyone loves a good love story, no matter what route they had to take to end up where they are. We celebrate J-Lo and we say congratulations to you, Jenny from the block. We are all very excited and happy about it. Now, in other music news, by the time this podcast episode comes out, we would have all known about and hopefully listened to Beyonce's Renaissance Part 1. Now, before we begin this conversation on the mother of music, I just want to go ahead and put out there that I'm a Beyonce fan. I'm a part of the Beehive. So, girl, if you don't like Beyonce, you don't like her music, you don't get what all the hype is about whenever things come out, this might be where you and I kiss and say goodbye, okay? But if you are at least down for the conversation, let's talk about it. Because now when she released Break My Soul, people had their opinions. They were like, ooh, we don't know. What is this? I, on the other hand, loved it immediately. I love the lyrics. I love the beat. I love to dance. So anytime you give me something I can dance to, and on top of that, I like what you're saying, I'm down for it. So I immediately love Break My Soul. Then she released the boxes, and people were like, oh, what's in the box? Y'all are buying something and you don't even know what's in the box. When really, if you read the website, it said very clearly what you were getting in the box. You just didn't know what it was going to look like. But us knowing Beyonce, and we know she just don't put out just anything, I knew that the likelihood of it being something that I would want was very high. So I went ahead and caught Pose 4. I said, here, Beyonce, you take this good money that I have worked so hard for, and you send me that box when the boxes get released, because I want to see what Pose 4 is. She released the poses. I was very happy. Like, now that I know what my pose is going to look like, very happy with it. I think in the box we get like the photo book. So like all the photos that you're going to see online, like we're getting those in a book. You get the CD. And I think so. Oh, and you get a t-shirt. So I'm very happy with my decision to buy the box. Well, then the album dropped on July 29th. I stayed up past my bedtime because one thing I love about social media is getting to see how other people interact with something that I'm also participating in, right? So I stayed up to listen to the album when it dropped. I got on Twitter because I wanted to see and read Twitter's reaction to it. And it was just such a fun time to be awake. Everybody pressed play at the same time. And we sat there and we listened, and just reading everyone's tweets about how good the music was a moment, and it made me happy. I listened, and at like 1:05 when she released those lyric videos, I went ahead and went to sleep because I knew I had to get up the next morning. But if you have not heard the album, spoiler alert, like, girl, it's good. I liked it. It's 16 songs and you don't have to skip not one of them. I would sit here and go song for song and what I like about it, but it's 16 songs and I feel like that would take up a lot of time. So I will say, just immediately when I heard the album, I was just mind blown. Like, wow, this is really good. It's really different for her. I love how the songs just flow from one to the next. A la Brandy's Never Say Never. If you know, you know. I really love that. I love that the overall like vibe and I guess feeling of the album is a high energy, good like groove. You can definitely dance to each song. It definitely gives you that 70s, 80s vibe. So if you like music from back then, you might like this. If you like Blow from the self-titled album, you would probably like this album. It's just so good. I like it. I also love reading everyone's opinions about it. And some of them I don't understand, but I'm like, hey, it's art. She puts out what she is creatively feeling at the time and is up to the general public to consume it however they want. I will say that this is probably an album that I personally couldn't see myself like picking singles from it. I think she had to release Break My Soul as the single, because when you listen to the album, it's truly the only song that could have been a single, be it because of the lyrics or because at the end of the day, to me, all the other songs, because they flow from one to the next, you really can't pull them and sell them as singles. I mean, I know she'll have to, because that's the nature of the business. But to me, I'm like, this is one of those things where I feel like you have to listen to it from start to finish, because it really does sound like one long song that just goes from one to the next, right? Love the album. So excited to get my box in the mail. This is just a really great moment for members of the Beehive. I know we're all very happy and excited. I love being a fan. I love things that bring me joy, and her music is definitely one of them. So congratulations to all of us who celebrated Renaissance. We are exactly where we are supposed to be in all of the feel good and all of the vibes. Love that for us. Okay, moving on. I Well, first and foremost, I'm a contributor for Cornerstone Magazine. If you don't know what that is, feel free to go to Instagram, go to the Cornerstone Magazine Instagram page, and I'll try to link that in a description box somewhere. Go there and you'll see an opportunity for you to sign up to receive the magazine in your inbox. You'll also be able to sign up to receive a newsletter. And in the most recent Cornerstone newsletter, Charlotte, the creator of the magazine, told a story about how her and a girlfriend were taking their kids to the beach. They got to like a gas station or some type of store, and a woman or whoever they ran into at the store was telling them about how, like you might as well just turn back because the walk to the beach is like, it was either too hot or too rainy or too something. It was too something for that woman, right? So she was like, you may as well just pack up and go back home because you're never going to make it to the beach. And so in the newsletter, Charlotte talks about like how you should, basically she was like how you should never let somebody, you'll never you, right? Because it was too much for me. So I'm telling you, it's probably going to be too much for you too. That's basically what this lady was doing to them. They didn't listen to the lady. They kept all the kids, all the things. They walked onto the beach and they ended up having a great day. And so in the newsletter, she was talking about what would have happened if we had listened to this woman and hadn't pushed forward when someone else told us something was too hard for us. And what I loved about that message, and I always try to apply everything, back to the industry that I work in. So when I heard that message, I said to myself, like, yes, the same can be said for a lot of what we do here at Tia's Table. You might say something like, Tia, I'm going to try this detox. This is so timely. Yes, you might say to me, Tia, but I'm going to try that 3-day juicing detox program because just because you said it was too hard for you or too gross for you or whatever, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be able to soldier through that kind of challenge, right? And you would be absolutely right. Just because I say something was too hard or too challenging or the flavors weren't hitting or whatever, it doesn't mean that the same is going to be true to you. And you should always stay true to yourself, knowing what your capabilities are and push through when things don't feel, or when things feel hard, or when someone tells you something that's going to be too hard, right? Apply that to the same stuff we talk about here. So when you're starting a new healthy lifestyle or a new fitness journey, and you'll be talking to like your friends and family about it, your coworkers about it, and people will say, there's no way I could get up at 5 a.m. and work out. Okay, well then, girl, make sure you still stay asleep at 5 o'clock. Okay. When someone says to you like, there's no way I could drink a gallon of water in a day. I have a hard time drinking a bottle. Like you shouldn't even blah, blah, blah. And so then you say to her, okay, girl, well, you stay dehydrated and let me know how that works out for you. Right. When you say to somebody, I'm going to become a vegetarian. I'm going to give up meat because I feel like my body has a hard time processing meat and I'm going to try just eating fruits and vegetables and see how that works out for me. Someone will say to you, that's crazy. Like you shouldn't stop eating meat. Like I could never give up meat. Like that would be so hard for me. You should blah, blah, blah. Well, you say to them, okay, girl, well, then you stay constipated. If meat doesn't agree with you, you've decided you're just going to eat it anyway because, things taste so good to you. Well, that's fine. You continue to eat it and enjoy it and spend endless amounts of free time trying to push out poop. Like, what are we even doing here? So in season 1, when I talked about process or method shaming, the way people want to try to live healthy or get in shape or whatever, like we got to make sure that we're not shaming people for the choices that they make. And we definitely have to make sure we don't project our own feelings and opinions about any one thing onto someone else in a way that might make them stop doing the very thing that might be life-changing for them. So in situations where you might be saying like, hey, I'm about to go take this walk. I'm about to get up and go walk the trail. And somebody would be like, oh, girl, but it's so hot outside. It's so humid. you shouldn't, you shouldn't want to lose weight that bad that you're going to get out and do that or put yourself through that. And you just have to say to yourself, or maybe sometimes you might have to say it out loud, and then, ooh, girl, I'm not good with confrontation, so I wouldn't know how to help you address that. But you might have to start saying out loud, like, hey, it might be too hot for you. You might not want it that bad. Like, you might not want change that bad, but I do. And so I'm going to make sure I'm properly hydrated, get my headphones, and I'm about to get out here and get these steps in, right? Don't let the well-meaning projectors in your life keep you from making life-changing decisions that ultimately are good for you, especially when you know the challenge ahead only has good things on the other side of it. Don't let anybody stop you. The woman that they ran into at the store, I'm sure she had good intentions. I'm sure she thought she was saving them from something she had already experienced and decided she couldn't do. But what she didn't know is they had it in them. They had it in them to take the walk and beat the heat and drag the wagon and get the babies out to the beach so that they could have a great day. It was in them to get it done. And if it's in you to get it done, don't let anybody project their own feelings, thoughts, opinions, or what have you onto you. You keep going for what you know is in your best interest. I really love that newsletter. Please sign up for it and consider following the Cornerstone Magazine Instagram page so that you can be kept up to date on all the fun things going on over there. I write the food wellness articles for that magazine when they come out, and I would love to have you guys check those out too. So make sure you're following us over there. Lastly, before we go, some upcoming things, a couple quick announcements. Number one, TVF University is launching this fall. We're going to have 2 different courses for you to pick from. Both of them are going to lead you on a health, wellness, and fitness journey to making daily habits a new lifestyle for you. So if you are someone who has either always wanted to work with me, or maybe I'm coaching you right now, and you feel like you want access to an online coaching program, stay tuned for that because that is coming. I'm very excited to share it with you. I think it's going to help a lot of people and promote a lot of positive change, and it'll be a lot of fun. So that's coming hopefully in September of this year, September 2022. And then lastly, I just kind of wanted to talk about what we can expect on this season of the podcast. So I feel like last season, we talked a lot about just getting ready, like mentally being prepared to do all these things. And I tried to encourage and motivate as much as I could. This season, I feel like we should go on a bit of an adventure. I like trying new things. I like having fun. I feel like naturally my life tends to have some type of an adventure in it, whether I ask for it or not. So I'm like, why not at least schedule myself for the adventure? At least, I can set myself up for a little bit of success if I do that. So this season, we're going to learn a lot. We're going to laugh a lot, and we are going to decide if some of these things we always hear people talking about are truly for us. So, get ready. It's going to be fun. I'm very excited about it. If you have ever thought about whether or not some type of new beauty trend or fitness trend or exciting body sculpting thing truly works, this season we're going to answer those questions on something that I like to call TVF investigative reporting, which is a term we're going to use very loosely. It's just fun and cute to say. But we're going to do much of what we just did today. I'll pick some type of thing I've seen people talk about or I've seen people try. I'm going to go out. I'm going to try these things, and I'm going to come back to you, girl, right here at Tia's table. And we're going to talk about what it was that we did, how much it cost. Did we like it? Did we not? The pros, the cons, the good, the bad, and the in-between. And hopefully some of these things are things that maybe you might want to try. I don't know. They are definitely supplemental to the healthy lifestyle journey. So if you are also a person who is like, I already work out, I already drink water, I already eat really well, but I feel like I want to give my body a little bit of an edge, or I want something to supplement what I'm already doing, what else could I be doing or trying to kind of help my body see some results? But also, I don't have to go under the knife. Like you want to try something or you want to see some more results, maybe a little bit quicker, but you're not necessarily wanting to have full-blown surgery. Girl, don't worry about it. I got you. I'm trying all of the things and I'm going to come back and tell you about them. And then you can decide for yourself if these are things you want to try or do. Let's get ready for a wild ride on season 2. I'm so excited. If you have any questions for me, if you just want to catch up and chat, or if you have something that you've heard about that you think that I should try, or maybe you've tried it and you think I should try it for the purposes of the podcast, girl, share that with me. Reach out to me via email at tiavfitness@gmail.com, or you can always reach out to me on Instagram at tiavfitness. I'm so excited about season 2. I'm so happy to be back. I missed y'all, and I thought about y'all a lot while I was gone. But for today, I think that wraps it up. Season 2 has begun. I hope you have a great day. Remember, when you're out, compliment a woman when you see her. Tell her how beautiful she is. Tell her she has a lovely smile. Compliment her nails, her hair, her outfit, something. Remember, don't compete, don't compare, don't complain. What God has for you is for you. And I will see you next time right here at Tia's Table. Love you, girl. Bye. Thank you for joining me at Tia's Table. I love good girlfriend time. And if you do too, please consider subscribing to the show. Don't forget to rate and review, and be sure to follow me on Instagram for daily food and workout inspiration. Talk to you later, girl. Bye.
Good job, T.